Welcome, everybody, to another live recording of the Business Travel 360, linking the travel industry podcast, where we discuss travel industry news you're talking about on LinkedIn. My name is Ryan, and I'm one of your hosts today. I'm a co-founder at Agentivity, where we do some very clever things with the data that flows through a TMC. So if that sounds of interest and you want to talk about that some more, please get in touch. As usual, I'm joined by Anne and Ash to help me talk through the stories from last week. So over to you, Anne.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Anne. I'm a consultant with LeapShift. I'm happy to help you with anything related to distribution, such as airline retailing, NDC. Over to you, Ash.
Thanks, Anne. Hi, everyone. My name is Ash. I'm the host of a weekly business travel podcast called What's Up in Business Travel, where we give you only the important updates in under 15 minutes. Additionally, I'm the Vice President of Client Success at Traxo, and this is linking the travel industry.
So for those new to the event, welcome. The format of this discussion is a quick, non-biased and spontaneous review of the previous week's top LinkedIn travel industry-related stories. One of the things we really like here at Linking the Travel Industry is for you to comment and tell us what you think about these stories. So if any of the stories we discuss here today makes you want to add a comment, please do so, and we'll bring that on screen. So last week was week 45, and the first story that stood out for me was the interesting news that Seatguru finally shuts down. Now, Seatguru by TripAdvisor, they were acquired by TripAdvisor. They haven't been maintained. Some of the maps were out of date, and now it's been shut down. I used to use this quite a lot, and I'm sure so have you.
So did I. I used to use it a lot, yes. This is really common, isn't it? It's really sad with this buying companies and then you do nothing and then it just fades out, disappears, being shut down.
Is there an alternative, Ash? What do we use now?
So in my crazy travel heydays, this was my go-to solution to figure out what seat I want to sit on. Learned quite a bit about airline seating because of Seatguru, so it's totally sad to see them go away in this manner. I've started to use this site called Aerolopa. I learned about them maybe a month ago. They're not quite the Seatguru. The maps are very nice and much bigger. It's not really Seatguru-like.
You say everything must go away. Ash, what about boarding passes?
No.
Sorry, I had to get that in. I saw this on a post by David Studden. It's the rumor that AirAsia might make Bahrain their Middle East hub. And, they're going to look at this as a LCC type hub for the Middle East, which is fascinating considering that the super luxurious Qatar and Emirates and Riyadh is just next door. So this will be the cheap alternative. And isn't this fascinating?
It is fascinating. And also particularly, I don't know about your feed, but my feed on TikTok and, other feeds is very interesting because it's full of Bahrain. And especially now they launched this new ferry, right, between Qatar and Bahrain. I think it was launched over the weekend. Very interesting indeed. I mean, Bahrain is definitely positioning itself as a destination. I think that's sort of part of this.
Look, I think it's a very clever move by AirAsia if they are going to do this, because they'll get all the support they want out of Bahrain, and it's a good distance from Europe. Makes a lot of sense to me. So we'll see what happens here, following this with interest. And then another story for me is the fact that Travel Perk has been rebranded as just Perk. Don't know quite what to make of it. It's the second time in a while we see this. Navan that rebranded from Something Travel to Navan as well. It's quite a surprise. And what did you make of this?
I'm also a bit confused, like Perk. Anyway, I hope with this rebranding that they will stop using a Perk email for me when I book with them. That would be, super if they can get rid of that. And they say that they're going to do some improvements in general. So if there is a wish list, that would be my wish list. Very irritating. This is when I travel, is on business.
After at least they got the domain, right? Perk.com was now available. It's them.
Not really feeling this new name personally. I'm not sure what's the thought behind it. I guess they want to be Navan-like. Maybe that's the thing. Navan used to be called Trip Actions before. There was an element of travel in it. I guess they want to illustrate the fact that they're going to be a lot bigger than just travel to entice the investors and the future shareholders of their company. So there's probably a reason for this movement. When I hear Perk, I hear coffee.
One of the things they said they also do for people traveling is, for instance, expense, etc. But to me, those things are all still ready to travel. So I find this equally weird. And look, guys, we've got a positive comment there from Kenneth Chung. I don't know whether it was me who nailed it or somebody else. I don't know what, in relation to what it is, your comment is there, Kenneth, but thank you for taking part.
About Bahrain, I believe. So I don't think it's
cool.
I don't think it's Perk that I've nailed it. No.
Very, very interesting post coming out about Ryanair and their profits, as well as the new record that they've set for 12 months of passenger traffic in Europe. They've exceeded 200 million. They've hit 204, and they've increased their profits, not turnover, their profits by 42% to $2.92 billion in the first half of its financial year. And it is astonishing numbers, consistently strong. And I mean, we know they were doing well, and this is just staying on top of that good story, right?
Indeed, biggest airline in Europe, right? I wish I had the time. I would like to do the analysis of those who do it. What is it that they do that is so right? This is clearly one of these airlines, and look at that load factor. It's impressive.
It's phenomenal. So hats off to them.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine booking a flight, reserving a hotel, and filing your expense report, all during your favorite coffee break at your desk. That's what Italite makes possible, a modern, all-in-one platform for business travel and expenses. Why choose Italite? Because we combine smart technology with effortless workflows, helping companies save money while making travel simpler and faster for employees. Italite, the smarter way to travel for work. Discover more at italite.com.
And then, as I said in my listing, not to be outdone, Emirates came up with equally impressive numbers. They maintain the spot of, it must be the most profitable airline in the world, because they've reported a profit before tax of $3.1 billion US, on top of revenue of almost 18 billion. And that's just for the first 6 months of this year. So incredible statistics from Emirates as well. And do we think Emirates can keep it up? Because there's a lot of competition now, right?
The vision and strategy being consistent. We see it with Ryanair, we see it with Emirates. I'm very interested in, I actually haven't looked at that, because I mean, their fuel cost must be quite low, right?
You would think.
That's something that I'm always fascinated by when it comes to Middle East airlines. They're on their own PSS as well, just like Delta. One of the recipes for success, I guess.
Comment from Michael Carter. Thank you for the comment, Michael. I believe it's in relation to the Ryanair outcome. You were saying an expected metric when I guess you said they finally decided to work trade again. Yeah, they've been very successful at a distribution strategy, Michael. But Anne and I love that story and how they've taken control of the distribution with the kite PI and all that stuff. So yeah, very consistent approach there, and working with the trade, obviously contributing to their success there indeed. I just want to turn to the audience and say thank you for giving us your time on a Monday. We really appreciate it. The purpose of linking the travel industry is to link more people in our industry. So one of the things we'd like you to do is just comment and tell us where in the world, which city and country you are listening to from. And we'll get that comment on screen, and maybe you'll get a few extra connection requests today. So that'll be great if you can do that. And again, just to say thank you for giving us your time on a Monday. So moving on, we've got some more stories. Very interesting developments. Qatar Airways, they had an investment in Cathay, an investment almost 10%. That was now, they've sold it back to Cathay for around $900 million US. It ties up with their focus, if you want. What's quite clear, they want to focus on Africa, and they are investing in airlines and airports and infrastructure in Africa. So they've stepped away from their investment with Cathay Pacific. And, it's consistent with their approach, right?
Yeah, consistent with their strategy. And like you said, I mean, we can clearly see a focus on Africa. I was told by a reliable source of mine that they made quite a bit of money here. They made a profit of $200 million approximately in the sale. Not too bad at all.
Any thoughts there, Ash?
That equates to about $30 million a year that they made on this deal. So if they get their asking price, there's definitely a good amount of money coming their way as a result of this investment.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for the comments, guys. Phil, nice to hear from you out of Frankfurt. Michael out of Queensland. Gary out of Boston. And then our anonymous user out of Sydney, but we know who that is. So thank you for listening. What a global audience indeed. So this is fantastic. Big news out of the States, the fact that there is the ongoing government shutdown. So the Federal Aviation Administration has instructed 40 major U.S. airports to reduce their flight capacity by 10% as a result of the ongoing government shutdown. And there's been lots and lots of posts about this and how this is affecting people. It's a staged, sort of reduction. It's not just instantly 10%. It seems to be 4 and 6 and 8%, etc. And so obviously it has had an effect for many travelers. Interesting enough, today on the BBC, I read about there is movement on getting the government shut down.
This is actually a strategy that's not been deployed in the history of U.S. aviation, where there is a proactive, structured approach to eliminating any hazards that might occur as a result of less air traffic controllers. The airlines, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the FAA, they've all gotten together and planned this out quite well. While the media will show you all these big headlines about, these many cancellations or that many cancellations, that's absolutely true, because when you're asked to reduce flights, those will be in the cancellation category. This is not a situation where people are at the airport and there's cancellations. As a matter of fact, airport operations have run smooth this weekend with barely any lines at the airports. The airports ran really, really well despite this number of cancellations. Just keep that in mind that this is a very proactive and well thought out process. The airlines, of course, are also only reducing in markets where it does not impact their hub flights, and they're very strategically using regional airlines to cancel their flights as opposed to the larger. So all of this is well put together, well done, and we've definitely seen zero impact at the airports as a result of this cancellation. This is all measures taking place to protect the flyers from a security perspective, and I'm expecting that by the end of this weekend, everything might be back on track again. We'll see how that goes.
Any comment, Anne?
Let's hope that everything is back on track for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My favorite holiday in the world, I must say.
I skipped the next one on my slides, so I'm just going to leave that graphic on there. But there was news out of favorite stable, the British Airways stable. Actually, to be fair, this is the International Airlines Group stable, that they've signed a deal and they will now provide Starlink high-speed internet. So it's going to be starting with British Airways and also with Iberia, Vueling, and eventually Level Airlines. It's interesting to see the media spin on this. I believe that one of the conditions that Starlink imposes on an airline when they sign up for this is that the service must be free to customers. I wasn't aware of that, so that's very interesting. But it's also interesting how, I don't know how you want to say this, I saw somebody saying, this is a great move towards digitizing and offering the best services, etc. Well, yes, it's about time, I can't believe that it's only now that British Airways has gone for it, but I guess they had to eventually, right, Anne? I mean, it's just, they can't not do this.
No, indeed. I fully echo that. Only now, I like to follow head for points. They were just saying that, this is unbelievable that British Airways delayed Android for 2026. You can't download a boarding pass if you got an Android phone.
Well, Ash tells you, I told you so.
Every time it comes back to the same topic. It's amazing.
Yeah. British Airways, I know, sorry, but it's just unbelievable. And the stories in all these forums and groups, you get such a laugh out of it. What I do like about IAG is that they seem to coordinate for all the airlines in the group. Star Alliance or SkyTeam would sort of do a bit more of that sort of stuff.
Ash, any comments on this one?
Do I have comments? Yes, I have comments. Remember, Rian and Anne, I want to remind you both that roughly 3 years ago, when we started talking about space travel and space news on this show, I had made a statement at that time where I said that there will be a huge impact to Earthlings as it relates to advancements in space. So this is a directly related scenario where SpaceX has been able to put up so many Starlink satellites. I mean, we've been talking about rocket launches after rocket launches. What are they launching for the most part? They're launching satellites. And the fact that they have these satellites up in the sky now, airlines can take advantage of them. As Rian mentioned, they're free. There's a lot of good stuff happening to advance things here on Earth as it relates to space travel. On the airline front, the fact that British Airways and all their IAG, these airlines are agreeing to move forward, keep in mind that there is a bigger relationship here. That's the One World Alliance. You see Alaska Airlines made the announcements about Starlink. So there is a shared resource here across the entire One World Alliance.
Last story on my list, we have a few extras, but something that stood out to me was a post that I saw by Jake Zellman. This relates to the tragic incidents with UPS Flight 2976, which crashed and multiple people died in that crash. But he was just posting about quite a heartbreaking message from the Honolulu Air Traffic Control Tower to another UPS flight where they were just conveying their sympathies to the wider UPS family. And that post, obviously got a lot of engagement, but it was also quite a heartfelt post. Did you see that post, Ash?
I saw it on your list here. That's when I came to know about it. But I was actually watching TV when this thing happened in real time in Kentucky. Definitely a very, very sad story. I think they're still trying to figure out what happened. If you see the video, you can kind of see how one of the engines catches fire. The plane rolls into the field immediately after that. Nothing that anybody could have done to help them or save them. It's just a really, really bad scenario. And we can't take safety for granted anymore in air travel. We've been talking about safety for a long time. I'm sure when it all comes out, this will not be a situation of pilot error, but more of something around maintenance and equipment failure of some sort. Not to speculate, but definitely something that possibly could have been avoided.
We have some extra stories. I actually have one myself this week, and it's back to IAG. I saw a post by Everett Debu, and where he just talked about the IAG loyalty profitability, if you want, and just gave us some interesting numbers there. They are making good money out of the IAG loyalty with Usher's favorite reward token called Avios. He loves it so much. So they are actually very profitable, Ush, despite the name. So imagine how well we could have done with a better brand.
For sure. I think I have some Avios points, though I don't accumulate them on a regular basis. Somebody made a point, right, on one of the comments here. They said that, is it really a good thing that they redeemed this much? I mean, 45 billion were redeemed against 50 billion earned. So redemption means it's a cost. I think the best way to profitize points is to not have it be redeemed and to have it be expired. I'm not sure if this is a good move unless you're the redeemer, then you feel good about it. But what do you think about that?
There's two sides to every story, especially IAG.
Yeah, loyalty is important. I mean, if you can never redeem, it's really bad for your business from a loyalty perspective.
And then, Anna, you've got some extra stories. Now, your first one is this one. So this is about Air France KLM that is interested in submitting a proposal to buy 45% of Portugal's TAP. This was a post you saw. But do you think that's a sensible move for them?
Yes, I think it is. Strategically, I think that's pretty good for SkyTeam to have an airline in that part of the world. Good move. It's going to be interesting.
Okay, cool. Then you had another extra story for us, which was something you saw, and it was brought to us by Corey.
Yeah, Corey Garner. Yeah, he posted, and I thought it was really interesting because it's about this post a lot, Ash posts a lot, and I post a lot on LinkedIn. And we're pretty used to, let's not call it absolutely not trolling, because that was not what it was about in this case. But we're sort of used to have the debate, right? And it's very interesting, that discussion, because what happened here was that Sabre posted that they were part of one of the groups in IATA where they have the test bed for offer and order, I believe. And Sabre was so happy about that they were part of that. And Sabre couldn't really face any criticism. And that's what I'm meaning to say. You have to be ready to face criticism. But I must say I was very surprised by Sabre's reaction. They went totally overboard here and started accusing the person commenting for trolling. And so Corey did a post that I thought was interesting. How to meet this, what to do. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, just again, a bit of context. You did say some of that this is Martin van der Voort commenting on this post by Sabre, and Sabre, especially Jennifer Cutter there, just going at him quite viciously. Now, they've subsequently deleted those messages, which tells us what we need to know about, what they thought about them. And Corey's post is asking this question about how should you deal with, negative comments, etc. So, I mean, the obvious thing is if you've got nothing to hide, you should not be worried about anything at all, right? You should be able to take any comment and you should be able to deal with it. It's that simple. I think it is a wrap. So again, thank you for all the interaction, guys. We really appreciate that. That was marvelous. Thanks for all the comments, etc. And we do this weekly, as Ash will remind us towards the end. But over to you, Anne.
Thanks, everyone, for listening in. I'm so impressed to see India, Sydney, wow, and Boston. It's amazing. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Ash.
Thank you all for joining today's live recording of Linking the Travel Industry. We record this podcast live every week on Monday. We ask that you share this event with others that you know. Chances are high that if you enjoyed today's session, those that you know will as well. If you ever miss a show because of time zone availability, the podcast is available on businesstravel360.com. This is Linking the Travel Industry, signing off.